I recently wrote an article for Soulmates entitled How to Discover Human Truths in Digital Behavior. This video is a deeper look at that topic and how understanding your audience's why can change how you build, design, and communicate. Most teams are awash in data, page views, clicks, and bounce rates. But as we covered in the article, those are just surface-level metrics. They tell you what someone did, but not why. And the why is where the real leverage lives. Harvard's Gerald Zaltman found that 95% of purchase decisions happen in the subconscious. So if your audience insight stops at what they clicked, you're missing what actually drives their behavior. This is where things get interesting. Soulmates analyzes over 1,000 behavioral data points, decoding what we call 5 core human signal types: emotional, psychological, and motivational patterns that show up in micro moments. A few examples include micro moments, or tiny pauses, repeat visits or hesitations that reflect internal decision making, digital body language, how someone navigates, where they linger, how structured or exploratory they are, and timing signals. Is someone in research mode or ready to act? Their behavior will tell you. These signals are subtle, but they're measurable, and they're incredibly predictive when modeled well. To make sense of this, Soulmates uses the HEXACO framework, a 6-factor psychometric model that helps decode traits like openness, conscientiousness, and emotionality. Agreeableness correlates with trust and peer validation, and community cues. The model helps connect behavior with personality, not just who someone is demographically, but how they think, feel, and choose. This isn't theoretical, it's practical. If you're building a product flow, knowing that your user leans analytical and conscientious means giving them side-by-side comparisons or clearly structured steps. If you're shaping a campaign and your audience shows high emotionality and openness, lean into aspirational messaging, but time it when emotional readiness is high. Understanding when someone's ready to act is just as important as knowing what to say. There's also a mindset shift happening around AI, and it needs to show up in how we use it. For years, AI has been seen as functional, task-oriented. We've asked it to do things, summarize this, generate that, rewrite this sentence. But that's changing. The shift is from task execution to context modeling, from do XYZ to help me understand this more deeply. We're starting to ask AI not just to complete something, but to uncover what's missing, to spot knowledge gaps, to surface blind spots in our assumptions, to simulate how different people might respond to a message or an experience or a design. Agentic AI isn't just here to complete tasks, it's built to simulate reality, to reflect how real people think, feel, and act in different contexts. When you build with that in mind, you don't just move faster, you make smarter, more human-aligned decisions. Some patterns are too complex or too hidden for the human eye. That's where AI comes in. Soulmates connects signals you'd never spot manually, like how weekend browsing behavior correlates with openness or how email click patterns map to conscientiousness. So let's see what this looks like in practice. Let's say I'm not just testing content, I'm trying to understand what resonates with my audience before I launch. Maybe I'm a product lead evaluating which feature to prioritize, or a strategist refining early stage messaging. With Soulmates, I don't have to rely on post-launch feedback or rely on gut instinct. I can ask our high-fidelity personas direct questions to see how different types of people might respond. Today, we're going to be using an insurance audience as our example. Inside Soulmates, everything now lives within our unified interface powered by our latest agentic model. So I can talk directly to our agent, Enya, and conduct deep consumer research at any time. I began with a pre-prompt letting Enya know that I'm an audience development strategist seeking high-level strategy in a specific format, as outlined here on my screen. This gives Enya some direction as we begin prompting. Now let's begin to understand this specific audience. Enya, ask the group, what kind of ideas tend to spark curiosity in you, but also follow through? So we'll give Enya a few seconds here. She's going to ask the group of personas, what's going to get them to click through? What's going to get them to act on a CTA, commit to a purchase, request a quote, for example. So we've got a number of responses here. Enya reports that the personas want ideas that spark curiosity, that are based on innovation and practicality. These personas appreciate new, forward-thinking concepts that also have clear real-world applications and solve genuine problems. These solutions are relevant and relatable, ideas that connect with their personal experience. They're technology-driven, so they rely on AI, digital tools, and new methodologies to provide and improve efficiency, convenience, or experience. And this is all great. I'd love to dive deeper, I think, basing this around how we can leverage these insights, these responses from the insurance personas for ad targeting and CRM. So I asked Enya, based on my audience, can you describe my persona groups that I can use to leverage with ad targeting and CRM, and the best ways to reach these groups? Enya responded, certainly, Matt. Based on the insights gathered from the group regarding what sparks curiosity and encourages follow through, I can help you delineate some persona groups. So this is where we're actually getting into real groups, based on HEXACO traits, psychographic indicators that Enya is finding and grouping together, and essentially providing different segments of the audience that I can reach out to in different ways. Persona group 1 includes pragmatic innovators. So this group is drawn to new ideas and technologies, but only if they offer clear practical applications and tangible benefits. I'm given platforms for ad targeting, interests to target, and demographics as well. A CRM strategy, including notes on providing case studies, showcasing ROI, detailed product specifications, white papers on efficiency gains, webinars demonstrating practical applications and clear feature comparisons, and also messaging and engagement strategies around that. Persona group 2, the authentic connectors, seek relevance, relatability, and authenticity, and they're driven by a desire for personal growth, meaningful experiences, and ideas that align with their values. Again, platforms, interests, demographics, a CRM strategy, all broken down based on real correspondence between these personas. I'm also given another persona group, number 3, the data-driven strategists. This group is highly analytical and logical. They need ideas to be backed by data, research, and clear rationale. I want to dive a little deeper into understanding these groups. Obviously, Enya grouped them together based on HEXACO scores. These are probably the 3 predominant groups out of this audience. But I'd like to know, just for my own curiosity, is what HEXACO trait is most common in this audience? I think that can guide a lot of the upcoming prompts. So I asked Enya, which HEXACO trait is most common among our audience personas? Enya is going to refer back to my previous prompts where I asked about what sparks curiosity, what prompts follow through or promotes follow through with this audience. And Enya says, that's an excellent question. Based on the common threads and what sparks curiosity across the persona groups we've discussed, the HEXACO trait that appears most common and universally valued is honesty, humility. I'm given a breakdown of why and what's included in that kind of that psychographic indicator. Credibility and trustworthiness, all persona groups from the pragmatic innovators to the authentic connectors and data-driven strategists consistently emphasize the need for ideas to be backed with data, research, expert opinions, and genuine experiences. They need to feel that the information is the source and the source are reliable. Authenticity, the authentic connectors explicitly seek authenticity and alignment with their values. Transparency and clear rationale, multiple groups that were provided earlier look for clear plans, rationales, and transparency in how ideas are presented and implemented. I know basically the major groups that I'm reaching out to as part of this audience. I may not have known that before. Extrapolating insights from surveys and tying those to psychographic indicators, providing a complete behavioral index of the audience that we're trying to reach out to. Now I can kind of sort those together and figure out these are the main groups. This is how they like to be connected with. This is what causes them to take action. So after asking Enya for personas high in honesty, humility, what tends to build or erode trust more quickly, I get this summary of insights. Building trust quickly, obviously transparency and openness, authenticity and genuineness, fairness and equity, credibility and reliability. And you can kind of go into, dig further into each of these sections. Eroding trust, dishonesty and deceit, obviously, manipulation and exploitation. I have a group response. So we want to dive deeper into, well, what are the actual persona responses? And I can say, Enya, let's dive deeper into actual persona responses. Okay, so now we've got a collection of responses from personas. It's going to scroll all the way down to the end. Sometimes Enya gives you a lot because I'm asking 20 different personas, essentially the same question. There are certain attributes to each of these personas. You can always ask for a summary. Sometimes you might get a long answer. So it's really great to be able to ask for a summarized or bulleted encapsulation of whatever the response is to your prompt. But I'm just going to take a look at a few of these. It looks like Darren, a tech-savvy homeowner with a key eye for value, builds trust more quickly when they see transparency and authenticity in communication from a brand, from an insurance brand specifically. If a brand's open about their processes, clearly explains their policies, and is upfront about any potential issues, this persona is more likely to trust them. And there's actually a reference to the specific interview with the human that this persona is based off of that says, I recall during my interview, I mentioned that I value clear proof of good customer service or real claim success stories. So a lot of these are going to mention testimonials, success stories. I think basically with this audience that is ranking high in humility and honesty, you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see, losing trust over perceived insincerity, hidden motives, or dishonesty. You can dive further into each of these personas, but I'd like to kind of pivot and ask another question. I want to figure out, well, if something almost works, what's usually missing? So still within this same audience, same behavioral indicators, I'm going to ask Enya to ask our personas, if something almost works, what's usually missing? Enya responded, the personas have provided some very consistent and insightful answers to your question. Here's a summary of the collective thoughts. So this is great. We're now given a summary. The personas largely agree that when a product, service, or idea almost works, it's typically missing one or more of the following crucial elements: attention to detail or the final touch. Clarity and transparency, a significant number, emphasize the absence of clear communication, straightforward explanations, and transparency. The seamlessness of the experience and the ease of use. We see specific features or coverage. Occasionally, if there's a particular feature, a specific aspect of coverage, or a certain capability that's missing, that prevents it from fully meeting requirements that are expected for the audience. So Enya has asked, what would you like to explore next? I think this provides a clear example of how to use the platform to figure out who your audience is, what kind of personality traits they have, and the most effective strategies for outreach based on those personalities. Enya responds across a spectrum of real human patterns. One persona might say, this feels exciting, but I don't know what to do next. Another might flag a trust gap or a clarity issue. You're not guessing on what might land, you're seeing how real people with different motivations would actually respond. No surveys, no waiting on launch results. I just asked better questions and got answers rooted in behavior, personality, and context. That's how you build with intention, not assumption. So, here's what it comes down to. Digital behavior hides real human truths, if you know where to look. Motivation matters more than actions. If you get the why, you can predict the what. AI shouldn't just complete tasks. It should help you think better, see deeper, and model reality more clearly. Whether you're launching a product, testing a campaign, or just trying to understand your audience better, human signal is what moves the needle.